Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about something I got a comment on yesterday. Someone who's looking into putting a 12 valve or a Cummins anyway in one of his Jeeps, and he's got no clue where to start. He doesn't know how much it's going to cost, and I've looked up online on YouTube and there's not that much information out there right now. So I'm going to let you know what it's going to cost me to do this build and what I'm planning to build, so you know where to go upon your build, how much money you want to spend, how much money you don't want to spend. So first off, I started off buying a 12 valve Cummins, but it was seized. I bought that one for $2,500, and this is all in Canadian money, I'm going to say. So for all the people in the States and everywhere else who wants to talk in US currency, it's at 25% less of what my total is. So that 12 valve was, like I was saying, that 12 valve was seized. So I waited. I tried to unseize it. I pour some oil down the cylinders and all that, and I waited, and it's probably seized at the crank. So I said I'm gonna not bother with it. So I started looking around for other things. So I found this deal. The guy was selling a whole truck for I don't know, I think it was like $2,000 back then. So, and he stripped some of it out and he sold some parts off of it. So I managed to get it for $700. This is a 2002 24 valve Cummins. The VP44 pump was seized, that was burnt out, and it wasn't even on there when I got the truck. So I was looking into P pump swapping it. And I was looking online, like kits like that go for it'll cost you almost $2,500 at least, and that's not even counting the pump. So I had everything on my 12 valve that I could use to put on there, so I decided to go down that road, and I decided to go a step further and put the camshaft from the 12 valve so I can run the mechanical pump, so I wouldn't have any electronic fuel pumps in the gas tank. So that would save me a step there too. But you don't have to do that. You can run just a straight 12 valve in your truck, you know. But I'm going even a step further on that. When I got the whole truck, I got axles and I got the frame, because if you put a 12 valve in your little Jeep, it's most likely going to crush your suspension, so you got to upgrade your suspension. And after that, your axles are going to get beat up, because that thing has a lot of torque, so you're going to have to upgrade your axles. So I decided to do everything at once, and I'm going to keep it on the frame. I'm just going to shorten the frame, but that's me. You could put those axles in your truck, just on your frame, right underneath your frame of the Jeep, without swapping frames. I'm doing it with the big frame. But that all depends on how much you can do yourself without hiring any help or anything. Like me, I'm lucky. I got a lot. I know how to do a lot of stuff. Plus, my brother just lives across the street. He's a certified welder. He's going to help me with the cutting and welding of the frame, so that's a bonus for me. I don't have to pay him. Okay, and it saves me money. And all these little steps. So, like I said, it's going to cost depending on what you're looking for, what you're going to do. And like right now, with the price of everything up, doing stuff like that is expensive if you don't do it yourself. You're going to save a lot on labor. So if you just plan on doing a straight 12 valve to your Jeep, it's the motor, and depending, you're going to need to change the transmission, so and the transfer case, and get some axles done. So your best buy would be probably to find a whole truck, a total scrap truck that's rusted out, so you can use the 12 valve, or even a 24 valve with all the electronics you can put down in your Jeep to run a 12 valve, a 24 valve. So as long as you can get it cheap enough and it works. Like me, both engines, I haven't even seen, they weren't running when I got them. But if you can see them running before you buy them, that's a plus. So you know they're at least running, and you're not going to find out when you go to start it there's something majorly wrong with it. Like I don't even know, like this one, if it's going to run. I hope it does. It turns. When I took the valve cover off, everything looked good in it. So I'm assuming it will run. But that's debatable until we get actually going. And when you want to buy stuff, you don't have to rush. Don't rush. Take your time. Look around. And try to find stuff. Facebook is your friend. I got all this on Facebook. I didn't drive far. A good thing, I didn't drive far. The farthest I had to drive was like 45 minutes away to go pick up the 12 valve. This I got delivered. He was like 10 minutes from my house. So which is a plus. He brought it home. I didn't have to pay nobody to ship it. It just stayed in my yard until I needed it. So like I said, like if you're looking at if you're looking at parts, you're going to need the motor, the transmission, the transfer case, and some axles to put that in. And you need skills to put some motor mounts in to weld on your frame. Or like even this, I have to move the frame. I have to move it back 6 inches. So I'm going to have to re-weld some motor mounts on this frame. So either way, you're welding a frame. You're welding motor mounts, which you may or may not be able to do, or at least you have a friend that can do it for you, which will help. It's going to be cheaper, and it can go anywhere from, if you're lucky to find a 12 valve, just a 12 valve and transmissions here, odds and ends like that, it could be anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 or $6,000. But how good is your engine from A to B, C, D? You can have a engine that C's like me. I paid $2,500 because around here, you can't find these anywhere. Like you'd have to travel hours to get one, and even then, so you got to count in your traveling expenses, your time. Is it worth it for me to go down there and pick it up? Do you have something to pick it up? Do you have to get it delivered? That's all caught in your prices. So like for me, this build, I'm expecting it to be under $5,000, hopefully. But I might go over budget because I'm going to want to do extra stuff. But for $5,000, I can get it on the road, and that's not counting. I'm not counting that $5,000 with brakes and ball joints and all that, because this is just regular maintenance that you'd have to put on your Jeep or your other truck, or whatever truck you're going to want to put this in. Because these are shot. These are completely shot. I have to change them, just like any other vehicle. It's wear and tear. I'm not counting that as how much it's going to cost me to build it. And if you want to keep your stock axles, your stock suspension, it'll work for a while. Yes, you can run it like that, but I don't know how well it will work, because these are heavy engines. Like just the motor alone is at least is around 1,100 pounds. So you're looking at a bigger motor, the bigger transmission than what you got in your vehicle. So it adds weight to your suspension. So your front end's gonna wear out real quick. And like I'm saving money trying to do everything I can by myself without buying parts or repurposing parts. Like I took the VP44 lines off and I straightened them out to rebend to put from the P-pump to the engine. Otherwise, it's going to cost me around $800 Canadian just to buy those lines, which is insane. When I can just spend maybe a day rebending them and paint them and making them, kind of look nice and put them on. But I don't see paying $800 for just some fuel lines if I can repurpose and take the time to do it myself. That's something you should take into consideration. Do you want to spend the time and do it? That's the thing. Like I'm going to turn my daily driver into this, so I got to make sure all of this is ready, running, all the axles, everything's ready. I just need to put the Jeep basically on top of it, bolt it, connect a few things, and we're good to go, because it's my daily driver I'm using to do this, and I don't want to be stranded for a month without a ride. So if this is your second vehicle, or you're just your off-road vehicle, or just your weekend thing, that's fine. Take the time you want, tear it apart, do what you need. Don't rush it. Take your time to find some parts real cheap. They're out there somewhere. Sometimes it may take a week. Sometimes it may take months to get stuff. And also, like, people ask us like insane amount of money for stuff. Like don't be afraid to to ask them for way less, and sometimes they'll agree. Like I needed to change the leaf springs on this because I found one that was cracked, and I looked online. They're like $500 a pair or something like that for one or a pair. I don't remember what. Like, it's insane. I found a used pair and some brand new front shocks, and I got all of that for $200. So I looked around, and the guy wanted like $400 or $500 for all of it, and I managed to get it for half of what he was asking. So don't be afraid to you know, try to negotiate, but don't go straight up lowballing them real low. They might take an offense, because I've seen some people laugh at me like when I offer them real low money, but some of them come back with with a counter offer, so you know there's he's interested in selling. These are all chances you got to take to get the cheapest build you can get without spending you know, a lot of money for nothing. This is what I'm trying to do. It's like with my other project, I'm doing a Hemi swap in a Jeep that I'm doing from scratch by myself. I'm not buying those wire harness pre-built to plug in there or anything. Those motor the motor mounts, anything else that hooks up to it. I'm trying to reuse everything that's there. I got the wire harness from that Jeep off just an old Ram, and I'm going to try to rewire the engine harness to the truck just to save money. And I learned stuff from it too. It might cost me sometimes a lot of money because I make mistakes, but that's how I like to learn. So this is why probably I started my YouTube channel, just to do stuff cheap and try to make people understand that you can do it cheap at home too without spending that ton of money, as long as you got the time and you're willing to learn and try things. And also, if you're doing this yourself, if you don't have the tools, you're going to have to buy tools. The tools are expensive. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But you have to make sure you buy, you know, at least decent quality tools, not go cheapo brando. Okay, because they're going to break right off the bat, or they're not going to be powerful enough to do what you need to do. And you got to think too that tools you're going to use as an investment, not an expense on your vehicle to add to the price. Those tools you're going to probably reuse on another project, or you can resell them down the line to recuperate some money, which either way you want to go. But going back to the Cummins swap, this is why I started it. I wanted something cheap on gas, powerful, and these things will last forever, basically, if you take care of them. And I put the P-pump on it because the VP44 is not the best pump, and my other one was C-Lake on it. And I also went with the mechanical lift pump in it, so I can basically, I could run, black diesel, as you call it, used motor oil with diesel or gas mixed into it, and run for real cheap. And if I burn out that pump, it's easy to change, and plus they have less problems sucking that stuff through to put through your engine, so that's a plus too. So that's why I went down that road. I don't know what you guys plan on doing with your builds, or just going straight, 12 valve and diesel and whatever you want to do, or 1,000 horsepower after a while that they're capable of. But for a low budget build, buy the cheapest working motor that you can and put it in there. It's not that hard. Like, I found it's not that hard. It's just the time you need. I got a full-time job, and it's the time you need, and then you got to take care of your wife and your kids and your pets and do whatever you need to do to make all of them happy, and then you got to deal with this. So I know I'm ranting on. I got a lot to say, I guess, but I like what I'm doing, and I hope you like watching what I'm doing, and I hope you learn stuff, and that way it'll save you money by knowing what I've done, or how I got parts, or where I got parts. But like I said, like, you can buy stuff, do it, try to do it, and basically it'll work. Like, these things are easy to work on. They're just real heavy. Like, there's no electronics, especially the 12 valve. They have no electronics. Basically, you can run that with 2 wires, and she'll run forever. But I'm going down the road with an automatic transmission. You might be better off going with a manual transmission, but I'm gonna put what you call the automatic shift kit in it. So it's still an automatic, but it'll only go into gear when I want it to go into gear. It'll drive like a manual, like it'll go from 1, 2, and 3 and drive, and then I'll have a switch for my overdrive and a switch for my torque converter lock. These are all stuff I have to do while I'm driving. But instead, like, an automatic will do it by itself. So if you get a manual, that'll save you some little problems. But manual transmissions for Cummins are getting harder to find, and they're really expensive, especially over here on this end of the world. I don't know how it is down in the States, if they're easier to find or not, but that's why I went with an automatic. It's a 47 RE. The 47 RHs are good too. They're fully manual basically. You don't have, there's no electronics in them. They're hydraulic shift, so it's a lot easier. So that's why I have to put a kit in mind so I can shift it like a manual, so it'll go a lot easier. But like I said, in the States you might be a little different. You might be able to find a manual transmission for way cheap, way faster, way closer. Like mine, the ones I find are far away. They're like 6-hour, 7-hour drives, and they want a shit ton of money for, and they're used and they're untested. So that's the why I went down that road. And like I got the transfer case and all that for all that. But like with the Jeep, I checked, the transfer case does bolt up to the 47 RE. But like I said, it's not built for that type of torque. So you might be it'll work for until you find stuff. So you can technically use your axles, not your drive shafts. But that like I wouldn't you know, go too far with that one, because you might blow your transfer case real quick, because with all the torque it's going to have, because these are basically torque monsters if you want them to be. And I know I did a lot of ranting. I hope I made some points that people want to know. Like $5,000 for a build isn't that bad comparing to some people who have it made by other people with all the bells and whistles. They're you know, in it for 20, 30, 40 grand sometimes. Like, it's insane. I don't know why people even bother going down that road. I know if you can spend that money and afford it, go ahead. Why not? Knock yourselves out. I'm not judging anybody, but I'd rather build it myself. Then I know I've accomplished something, and if something goes wrong, I know how to take it apart and fix it. I don't have to bring it to a garage. Especially now, this will be so modified, the Jeep. Like, the garage are going to look at it like, what am I supposed to do? What parts am I going to order? Like, I got parts from a 94 engine on a 2002 engine, and a 2002 frame and axles going underneath a 2010 Jeep. So like, what parts, like, they're going to be confused. They're going to be calling you like, what do I order? What parts for what? So you might as well just do it yourself, and it's a lot easier. You'll find to find the stuff you need if it's broken. So I hope I got all the things covered. If you guys got any more questions about this, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer all your questions, or make another video about multiple questions you guys asked, and we'll try to get things through. So I hope you like, I hope you subscribe, I hope you enjoy. Give it a thumbs up. We'll see you on the next one.